another up-close video for you today. This is looking at the Perfect Pocket dies from Tonic. There is this one which is called the Delicate Lace, and this one which is called the Tangled Twine. I think I've got them the right way round. I'm not sure if there's going to be more than two in this collection or if there is just the two designs, but I've only got two of them. And I only have a couple of samples so far that I've made for the QVC Germany shows, so they've got German sentiments on them. But if I do get a chance to make any more of these before they're released in the UK, then I will just stick the footage on the end of this as well. So there might be a random bit of footage where I've forgotten what I've said in this part of the video. But yeah, so there's two die sets. I haven't actually used them as a pocket because I thought it's quite nice to show the different versatility of them rather than just showing their main use. So I decided to do two different things with them. So this one is the Delicate Lace, which I don't know, to begin with I thought this one was my favourite. I've only made one thing with each of them, so you know it's quite difficult to determine which one's your favourite from only making one thing with them. But I paper pieced this one and it turned out so beautiful, so you know it's a bit of a toss up between which one's my favourite. Maybe I do really love this one though, but anyway. So in both of the die sets you get two actual ones that create a pocket, and then you get two extra dies that are sort of the matte and layer to go on the front of the pocket, or you could just cut the detail straight into the pocket, or you can use these as corner elements on your cards as well, and the designs are interchangeable, so you've got two of the different designs. This one has, obviously, both of them have got a right angle because that's how you create the pocket on the corner of your card in a memory book, however you want to use it. These could even make like photo corners for a memory book, and you could slide a photo, you put one on each of the two diagonal corners and slide a photo underneath them as well. But this one's got a gorgeous like pointed design coming out of it, which again you could make use of this pointed element. You could score along the straight line of that and fold this over and use like a double-sided paper or something, or you could take this one and put it in here and then do the fold over as well, because you've got that extra piece of card and that would make an extra design in there too. So there's lots of different ways of combining the two sets together, or just making lots of different things out of this one set. And the card that I've done, I actually cut this twice in it, I'll show you it later, to create a longer pattern to sort of, it's not really a DL card, it's almost the height of an A5 card, so it's a bit of an odd shape because, you know, but yeah, it's a really decent sized card. Or you can create smaller cards and things with them, just using the smaller elements, or this on the corner of an A2 size card, or A6 sort of size of a card. If I find, this is just a random background I made ages ago, but that would fit perfectly on that bottom corner of this card. This is about A6 actually, so on an A6 card they fit absolutely perfectly on there, and that's both of them fit perfectly. And with the triangular one actually you would be able to do one and flip it and do two, and if you see there the sort of length is a bit shorter than this piece of card when you flip two together, so that would fit perfectly an A2 size card because they're slightly shorter. Or you could move them further apart on an A6 card and you'd have a channel for your sentiment down the centre of it. So there really are loads of different things you can do with this die set. And I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to show all the different things, unless I do at the end of the video. But I just wanted to show you the two that I have made whilst I've got them. So, you know, if I don't get a chance to make anything else, at least I can show you those couple of samples. And then this is the plain sort of triangular one that has obviously the straight hypotenuse of the triangle. But the corners on this, oh yeah, the corners on that one are sort of more inverted, the little corners that you get, as opposed to the point coming out. And then the corners on these ones have got a sort of a bit of a scallop to them. And they've actually got a wriggly sort of edge, like it's not quite a straight cutting line, it gives you a little wriggly edge to it, so that's interesting. And then these two designs are really, really, really gorgeous, and I'll show you them on one of the projects that I made. The only one I didn't cut was this design, but I think that would be marvellous for paper piecing as well. And it's got like a proper floral element to it, and it's symmetrical, so it's got a daisy here and like a larger flower and then loads of foliage coming out, so that would look really nice coloured with your alcohol pens as well. But again, I haven't really shown the use of actually using them as the pockets, because there are loads of different ways you can use a pocket. You could have it on the inside of your card to put like a gift card in. You could have it on the inside of your card for one of those cards that say, like, please use this card again. You could put the little piece of paper in there and not actually write on the inside of the card, so someone could resend the card to somebody else. Or again, loads of possibilities for your memory books and stuff. You could even have this as a pocket in a memory book and have a small little memory book that comes out of the pocket. So loads of different ideas for actually using them as a pocket, but I was mostly focusing on the gorgeous patterns of them. And I also realised that these ones that have the straight hypotenuse fit perfectly with the envelope dies that Tonic have brought out in the past. I know they've brought 2 out. I'm not sure if the first one, which was quite a few years ago, I'm not sure if that's the same size, but the one I have is the Nordic envelope, which came out last Christmas. So it's called the Nordic Christmas envelope, and it's got all these gorgeous birds and leaves and these gorgeous little deer in it as well. Both of these panels fit perfectly here, so you could make a pretty insert to line the inside of the envelope if you want this point as the opening. I usually make this point the opening, so on the envelope that I've decorated, this one would obviously fold up with the 2 sides, so you've sort of decorated that portion of the envelope. And I'll show you that as well. But the way I did it, you could use the triangles that come with the corner die set. I have done that on the front of the envelope because I also decorated that too. But for the one that I wanted to actually fit on the flap, you can just use this outside triangle, and then the pattern will fit perfectly inside that. So you get the perfect shape to fit the actual envelope die. So if I show you that one first, I think this sentiment means something like my condolences or something. I haven't got that many German sentiments, so it was a bit difficult to find lots that fitted with these cards, but I did my best to sort of use what I had. So for the front of this one, this is focusing on this die set, which is the Tangled Twine. On the front I used this one, which is my favourite out of this set, and I cut it once from dark green, once from a green mirror card, and then I also cut it from, what was the colour? I can't remember what the colour is. It's the plain textured card from the Merry and Bright collection. It's like a gorgeous turquoisey colour, and I cut just the triangle out of that to back the pattern. And I also used one of the little small designs. There's 2 different small designs. This one matches more with that because it has that heart in the corner. So I chose this one in the end because it's got the same kind of swirly designs that go here, and I just thought it would balance the front of the envelope nicely, and then I just put the sentiment across the middle. But this could be a card as well, it doesn't have to be an envelope. I just wanted to show that they also fit perfectly on that part of the envelope. So you could make because the good thing about the Tonic envelope is there's no definite way that you should stick it together. You could stick this one down and then that would be the flap, and you could have that design on the flap, or you could decorate the inside of the flap, so like this part if you did it the opposite way round, or even you could put the pattern inside there as a triangle element as well. I just decided to use it here, but you can see that gorgeous little heart design on this one, and look how delicate it is. I can't believe the intricacy of Tonic's dies at the moment. They keep bringing out so many fine, gorgeous dies. It's amazing. And they just cut so perfectly as well. All of these, all of the ones I've been die cutting, and pretty much every single Tonic die I've used, literally one pass through the Tangerine die cutting machine, which is the Tonic one, and it just cuts perfectly. So they have such brilliant quality dies. And I mean, this fine sentiment as well, it's one of the German ones. I haven't got the packaging with me, but even that is like such a fine sentiment as well, and it cuts perfectly, and you can even shadow it with the mirror card behind it as well. So that is just an example of how it works with the envelope, and obviously another sort of use for it. Then I think this is my favourite one. So this is using this set, which is the Delicate Lattice one. And look how beautiful it looks when you paper piece it. So that's this one. and then all I did was, if I can get it up, I cut it once into a piece of white card like this. This piece of white card was much bigger because I wasn't sure what size of card I wanted it to be. So I just placed that on, cut it once, and then I just twisted it round and lined it up again so those two edges would match. And then I die cut it again, and then I also obviously cut it out of multiple colours of card to do the paper piecing in it. And so for this checked pattern, where I had matched them up together, it was quite lucky actually the way the design works, because you need the opposite of the squares. So actually I only needed one of this dark turquoise to fill in all of the squares, because you use the opposite ones. If you see there, that corner one's the lighter turquoise and that corner one's the darker turquoise, because I use the opposite squares to fill them in. Then I did have to cut a second one for filling in the other parts of this pattern, but I could just, you can just cut a partial one using scraps that you have. And then obviously I cut two more of each of them in the other colours to fill in both of the swirly elements. But I didn't quite fill everything in. I just sort of picked out some parts that I thought would emphasise that swirly design, and then anything that was left I just added glitter to, because before I do paper piecing I put double-sided adhesive behind all of the openings so that everywhere is sticky. For one, that makes it really easy for placing all the pieces in, because all you've got to do is pick it out of the die cut and just stick it in. But it's also great because like tiny little bits like that, you wouldn't want to try and put a little blob of glue on the back of that piece and then try and get it in there without getting glue all over everywhere else. But you wouldn't want to leave it empty either, so adding the double-sided adhesive behind it means that you can just add some glitter and the glitter will stick in the double-sided adhesive in that tiny little section, but you haven't had to fiddle around with the tiny little piece of card to try and get it back in there. And then this is just another German sentiment, but they also do these in English, so you could easily use the English version of these ones. I think they were called Pretty Posies, and there's 3 different ones that all interchange with each other, and they have sentiments in the centre of them. I think one of them's like Hello Blossom, and then maybe it's Hey Blossom, and yeah, there's a couple more as well. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But I was also thinking this kind of scalloped look that this die gives along the edge, you could also add gems or Nouveau drops all the way along that too. I wanted to try and keep it a bit simple though. But I love this swirliness. It kind of looks like the sea as well. And this looks like kitchen tiling to me. But I really love how that one turned out. So that is the example that I've done using the Delicate Lattice dies. So I just wanted to show these whilst I had them, and if I have had a chance to make any more cards with these, I'll insert that footage now. Hi, I can't remember what I said at the beginning of this video, but I think I said I was going to show you some more samples if I got any done before I edited this video. So I have 2 more that I've done, showing like a couple different things to the previous 2 cards that I showed you. This one is focusing on the Delicate Lattice Perfect Pocket, and the other one is on the Tangled Twine Delicate Pocket. This one is like a really simple card. I was using colours from the Blue Blossom colour trend, the Meteorite Shower Shimmer Powder, and the Satin Blue Mirror card as well. And literally all I did was cut this rectangle down to about 4 by 5¼ inches, which is my favourite size of a rectangle. And then I just used the corner and cut it twice across the 2 corners, and then it left a lovely strip down the centre, which perfectly fits the sentiment strip dies from Tonic as well. So this is one of the newer sentiment strip dies. And then to attach this to the card, all I did was stick some 3D foam just down that centre section. So these 2 bits are actually loose. But I thought that gives a little bit of like movement to the card as well. And the background is just the shimmer powder cut slightly bigger than this rectangle, and then stuck on a bigger white card blank. I tend to just use like 6 by 6 squares and 5 by 7 rectangular ones, and I just trim them down to whatever size is going to fit the cards that I'm making. So that is that one, which is using the Tangled Twine, and it's a different use to the other project. I think the other project was, I showed how it went with the Nordic envelope die, using that die set. And then this one, I actually used it as a pocket, and I've just stuck it to the inside of the card. You want to make sure you use a top folding card for this card rather than side folding, because it's probably not going to look as neat maybe if you're folding this round the fold of a card. But so for this one, it's using the delicate lattice, and on the previous card I showed you, I actually cut this one twice and paper pieced it. And so for this one, I made use of all those extra die cuts I had from the paper piecing, and I actually snipped into it with different layers. So the back, like the backmost layer, is like a dark teal card. Then I used the Silky Sky satin mirror card, and then with the other two, like the navy and the light aqua, I snipped into them, so you've got areas of the different colours poking out to make a whole like proper, give it depth really. And then I backed it onto a really light blue coloured card for the actual main pocket, and I used one of the little corners from that set as well, just to create a little corner element and tie some of the glitter card in, because I've shadowed the sentiment with glitter card, and I've used glitter card on these tags as well. And for the rest of the pocket, I just used some of the Nouveau Crystal Gems, the water droplet ones. And for the rest of the card, to keep it really simple, instead of just having white space and it kind of looking unfinished, I used the other corner from that die set and just cut that white on white and stuck it opposite it. So you could leave the card like that, which looks really lovely, and then you could put a gift card inside the pocket, or you could put tickets to something, or maybe you've made a bookmark and you want to give that to them, or a lottery ticket, a scratch card, you could poke that in the pocket. But to show that there is a pocket there, I just made a couple of tags. And I actually, on these ones, so this is the I can't remember the name of the set, it's like some Swirl or something, but there was two little tags that came out a little while ago. It's these two tags. Oh, Flutter Swirl and Swirl Flurry gift tags, so I think it was the Flutter Swirl one maybe. And so I just used that outside die to cut the tags, and then I took this same die here and placed it over the top and ran it through with my embossing mat. So when you would emboss a die to get the detail from it, you just emboss the die straight away. The card did crack, so what I do is I then take the die out of the sandwich, but keep the same sandwich of the two plates and the tan mat, and just run the cardstock back through again, and it flattens it a bit, so any of the cracked areas are pushed back down, so you don't notice them as much, but you still get the pattern there, and it's just not quite so raised, which is kind of nice actually. So that's how I did that, and then I did a second tag and did the white stitching to match the sort of white from the card blank, and I tied in the glitter card by adding a couple of strips here. And the easiest way I found to do this kind of thing, so you're not fiddling around with glue to try and get them to stick on, I take some double-sided tape, stick it to the back of my card before I cut it, and then use my paper trimmer to cut it into strips. And then the thin strips already have the double-sided adhesive on the back of them, so you can just peel it off and then stick them on like stickers. So that's what I did for those. And the little congrats sentiment is one of the ones from the decorative sentiments, and they had duo ones as well. This one only had one sentiment in it though, the congrats one, but I just thought it needed a little sentiment and I thought it would fit in there quite nicely. So those are the two extra cards that I've done using the perfect pockets, or kind of corner die sets really. I presume a lot of the other DT members, because they love their memory books, I presume there's going to be some examples showing how they go in the memory books as well, because obviously this would be perfect for the memory book. And actually this size of a card is similar to memory book number 3. Obviously it had two rounded corners, but that kind of a square size is similar to one of the page sizes, so the pockets will go really nicely within your memory books too. But I just thought I'd quickly add this little bit of footage in so you had a couple of extra samples, because I know I only showed 2 before, so now there's 4 different examples. So hi, me again. So this video is going to be kind of all over the place, because when I filmed the first part I didn't realise there was 4 of these like corner pocket die sets because I only got 2 of them. So I've got them all in their real packaging, and it's the brand new packaging as well, which is really lovely. And I'm going to show you how I've been opening it to make it easy to get the die set in and out, and I'll show you like how the new packaging is and stuff as well. But so these are the 2 that I've already shown you previously in this video, the Tangled Twine and the Delicate Lattice, so you'll recognise those patterns. And I love the new packaging because it actually gives you, I know on the old packaging you did get images like this as well, but I really like that you get the image but you also get extra inspiration of gorgeous cards that, I presume it's Ali that's made these, but yeah, and it gives you the different dimensions as well of like what the largest die is and stuff. So I think they've put a lot more information on the packaging, which is really nice. And I love that you get the inspiration too. So these are, yeah, they're the 2 that I've already shown you. And you get 8 dies in all of the sets because you get the like the main shape of the pocket, the actual big pocket, 2 designs to go inside, and then 2 of the baby ones as well. So that is those 2, and then the other 2 that I haven't got any samples to show you because I've only just got them, but I really love the designs actually. They are called Embellished, Swirl and Elegant Arches. So there are 4 of these pockets in total. Obviously you don't need all 4 of them, you can just pick your favourite ones out of them, or even just favourite one, because the possibilities of card making and like putting these in with your memory books as well, you know, there's loads of different things that you can do with them. So even if you just have one set to add into your collection of dies, you're going to be giving yourself loads more different things you can do with it, because you don't have to actually just use the decorative panels that come in these die sets to create your little pockets. You can just have a plain pocket, and I think this one is a really good one to have, which is the Tangled Twine, because it is just a straight triangle. So this one can be feminine or masculine. I mean, these swirly patterns maybe are a bit more feminine, but if you just cut the pocket solid without the pattern in it, you can embellish it with any other dies that you already have as well. Either snipping them into a triangle shape or just using smaller dies to build up a pattern, or stamping on it, loads of different things. So, but I just wanted to show you these other 2 patterns. So you'll have seen the first 2 in detail on the, did I show you 6 cards? I think it was 6 cards, or maybe it's only 4, maybe it's only 4 cards in the beginning of this video, but these are the other 2. So this one is the Embellished Swirl, and this has got much more of a fancy edge to it, and again you get the 2 different designs which are symmetrical down this like 45-degree angle, which is really nice, and it means you can create a whole circular design as well, which would have this frilly edge all around like a circle shape to it. One of them, yeah, the next one shows that kind of a design, but I really love this one, and it's got a little heart in there as well, so like having it up this way would look really pretty on a card. Again, you can just have it like this. You can hide it behind an aperture as well and create a different shape from it. So you can just use the patterning of it and maybe put a circle window over the top of it and create a shaker behind it. You could maybe even layer the 2 of them on top of each other to give some different effects. I can't remember what I've said earlier in this video, so I might be repeating myself. But there's that one, which is the Embellished Swirl, and then the final one that I haven't shown yet is Elegant Arches, and this is how you can do this with all of them. Create a gorgeous like circular big element. It would be a large element depending on which one you use. This one would give you the smallest, the one with the straight edge, the Tangled Twine, would give you the smallest square element because you'd just be going straight across here. And also with this one, because it is flat along this edge, you can get a smaller square out of it too. You can cut it once there and then cut it a second time here and get a smaller square design as well. Or on the card that I showed you later on, well, in the middle of this video, I cut it twice on a rectangular card and we were left with a channel in the middle, which was perfect for the sentiment. Yeah, so this one looks like this on the back. It's really pretty again. I really love the way they've made a sort of focal element, because obviously it's designed to be a pocket or a corner, but putting them all together you'll get an even prettier design. I mean, look how gorgeous this one looks. when it's been cut 4 times, and paper piecing that little heart back in it as well is really pretty too. And that heart is not even there, is it? Because that's appeared when she's put the 2 together. Yeah, so that was using this one. So you've only got like half a heart in the design, but when you've cut the 2 together, you've got a whole sort of heart in there, which is lovely. And this one kind of has a heart design, sort of 2 hearts, and then one's in a circly sort of design as well. So you'll see loads of different things when you cut them out and paper piece back in. You can pick out loads of different designs that are inside them as well. But anyway, I just really wanted to show you them in their real packaging and show that there's 4 of them, not just the 2 that I thought there were. But I wanted to show you how I open the packaging too. So I've just been using my Tim Holtz shears from Tonic, and then I've just been cutting the very top off the packaging. You probably could prise this open, but I'm kind of messy and I'll probably end up ripping it, and then I'll get annoyed because I've ripped their lovely new packaging. So I've just been snipping this top bit off. And then the way they've made it more economically friendly, like usually, like this is just a small one, but usually it comes in a whole package made of acetate, and then you have your dies stuck on another piece of acetate inside, and then in the cardboard as well. But basically they've just gotten rid of this whole acetate pocket that they used to always come in. And now you can just slide out this whole thing. It's got like the little tab that matches the outside of the packaging, and the whole thing comes out. So that this bit is now completely recyclable because there's no plastic in that window. The window is just left because the plastic is actually on the front of here. So this piece hasn't got too battered. Just use that as acetate for a shaker card, which is perfect. So now you've got loads of acetate within your packages that you can just use for your shaker cards and things as well, which is brilliant. And the way that's just held in, which is really clever, is just a little tab on the bottom of the packaging and a slit in the acetate, and then they just slide into each other to hold it together whilst it's in the packaging. So when the first one I opened, I didn't realise the acetate was attached to this die piece, and I was trying to pull the die set out without bringing the acetate out, so I ripped this little tab. But the whole thing comes out together, so the card and the acetate are attached, and you just pull the whole thing out. So if you like storing these in the Tonic die storage, which I do love storing mine in that, and they probably will end up in there eventually, but I think this is quite a nice way of storing them actually as well. But if you don't want to store them in this, it's really like recyclable friendly, because you know it's just cardboard, and then you can use the plastic to make your shaker cards from. And another cool thing that they've also done is, if I lift this die off, they've marked where the die is on the actual backing card, so you actually know exactly what die was in here. So what you could do, if you wanted to keep them in here, you could stick a magnetic sheet to the back of this and put them all on, but still keep this side showing you what the die sets are. Or if you don't use them like that often and you're not taking them on and off all the time, you could just leave them on the double-sided sticky that's on this piece of cardboard as well. It just depends how much you use them really. I mean, with me doing prep and stuff and lots of samples, I find that after I've taken them on and off like 5 or 6 times, the sticky's kind of lost its stick, and then I get annoyed because they all fall off, so that's why I put them on magnetic sheets. But I just wanted to show you the inside of the packaging and how they've really thought about you can know exactly what dies went where on the packaging, so you can get them back in the same place really easily, and you also know if there's one missing as well, which is great. And the fact that it's all recyclable now, and this hasn't got too battered. Like, I used to try and save as much of this packaging as I could to make shakers from, but it kind of got a little bit battered. You know, obviously it's got metal dies in it and they can scratch the inside or the outside, and you know, but this, I mean, the only one place it might get a little bit battered is just through that tiny window, but you can use all the rest of this to create a shaker card or other techniques that you like doing with the acetate. So I just thought I wanted to mention that so that you know what the new packaging is like, because this was the first time I'd seen the new packaging. And the waterfall dies that have come out recently, the newer version of the waterfall dies, they're also in the new packaging as well. I think that's all that's come out in the new packaging so far, that I've got anyway. But this may not come out in the right order because I'm really bad at getting my videos edited. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you. the new packaging and how I've been opening it and what it's like inside and everything, and show you that there was 2 more designs of these corners as well. So sorry this video was completely all over the place and I've no idea what I said in the beginning of it because I filmed some of it like a month ago, but hopefully it'll make sense and it's useful to you. So thank you so much for watching and putting up with this randomly mushed together video, and I'll see you in the next video. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.